Matt Bernier here in the DRF studio, joined by DRF National Handicapper Mike Watchmaker. It's the second race for this weekend's Weekend Warrior. We're going to Santa Anita, and we're going on the turf, a mile and an eighth for 3-year-old Cal-bred horses. It's the Snow Chief, $200,000 is the purse. Mike, there's only 6 horses in this race, and I know this isn't something that you normally do as far as the Weekend Warrior is concerned, but tell us a little bit about why this race in particular was the one that you went with.
Well, I'm going to be completely frank with you, Matt. I mean, you know me. I'm not going to use a 6-horse race in the Weekend Warrior if I could possibly help it. And the fact of the matter is the pickings were very slim stakes-wise. I mean, I have to come up with 3 stakes races for the Weekend Warrior format, and it was a struggle to come up with more than one because, a lot of short fields in Saturday stakes races and a lot of imposing-looking favorites. But I used this one, even though it has a field of 6, because I know Rallis is going to be the favorite in here. I mean, Rallis, after 6 straight starts in graded stakes events, he won the Grade 1 hopeful at Saratoga last summer. After 6 straight starts in graded stakes events, he's now moving in with California Breds. It's a massive class drop, and he's going to be heavily bet in this race. But this is a horse who's never raced on turf before, so you don't know if he'll like the surface. I mean, he does have a little bit of turf in his immediate pedigree, but still, you don't know if he'll like the surface. And I think he's a significant question mark at this race's mile and an eighth distance. So you've got a horse taking a massive class drop who's going to take a lot of money on a brand new surface at a distance he's a question mark at. That's why I used the 6-horse Snow Chief.
And, we've talked about Rallis in the past here on the Weekend Warrior that, with the exception of that Grade 1 hopeful last year as a 2-year-old, this is a horse that just isn't very fast. And particularly in a race like this, for all the X factors and the unknowns that you alluded to, I agree. I think it's an interesting race. Even though it's only 6 horses, you've got a horse that's going to take some money that could be potentially vulnerable. Let's talk about the horse that you like, the 5 Tough It Out. Coming out of a common race with 4 rivals in this spot, why do you like Tough It Out coming out of that Silky Sullivan?
Yeah, it was the Silky Sullivan up at Golden Gate last month, earlier this month, actually. Early this month, first of this month to be precise. But Tough It Out finished second in the Silky Sullivan to Gold Rush Dancer, who's also in this race. And I thought Tough It Out had the tougher trip between the two, absolutely the tougher trip between the two. Gold Rush Dancer saved ground, tipped out in the stretch, and scored. It was an absolute ideal trip, and he ran well to capitalize on it. But Tough It Out was 3 to 4 wide around the entire racetrack. It was beaten only a little bit more than a length for all the money. Well, now Gold Rush Dancer's drawn outside of Tough It Out. Tough It Out, I don't think that has to be as far back off the pace as he was last time. I think Tough It Out is I know Tough It Out is the horse that I want on the Silky Sullivan.
Let's kind of talk about the one horse that didn't come from that Silky Sullivan, and it's not Rallis. The Big Train just is a maiden at this stage in the game, but did a little bit of running in that maiden special weight against Older in that most recent start. From a buyer standpoint, isn't that far behind these horses. Can you back a horse? I know it's a 6-horse field, but can you back a horse that's going up against winners for the first time when this one is yet to win a race?
Well, I've done it in smaller stakes races and actually have been successful, but this is like an epidemic now, Matt. I mean, we had a maiden run in the Kentucky Derby. We had a maiden run in the Preakness Stakes. I'm sure there's some maiden out there who's going to wind up running in the Belmont Stakes. And now we've got a maiden in the Snow Chief. I just don't know what the racing world is coming to. But, he's not far off these horses in terms of buyer figures. But, you've got horses that are proven, solid, tough horses. I mean, Tough It Out's a tough horse. He's a well-named horse. And Gold Rush Dancer is too. I mean, the Big Train's really going to have to raise his game a lot in order to, I think, beat those 2 horses. And it's only a 6-horse field. It's not like you're going to get 50 to 1 in this horse. I mean, even though he figures to be probably the longest shot on the board, he's not going to be an absurd price because the field is so short.
Race 5 at Santa Anita. It is a Cal-bred race. The Snow Chief, $200,000 the purse, a mile and an eighth on the turf for 3-year-olds. Mike is going to go to the number 5, Tough It Out. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to shift our tack back to Arlington and go over another graded stakes event there on Saturday, that being the Arlington Classic. Stay with us.